So personally, I think each and every one of these is worthy of being in every guy's fragrance collection. Even if you don't consider yourself a collector per se, like you're not trying to accumulate as many fragrances as you can, but you just like having a select few that you can rotate throughout the year, these are all worth considering. And so we really kind of have a nice little variety here of just things that you can wear pretty much any time. These are all going to be pretty versatile. We don't have any that go too far in being super fresh, only being worn for summer, or super sweet and only being worn for winter. It kind of keeps it relatively easy to filter through these and really get your money's worth out of these anytime. These are fragrances that you're probably going to hear about, some more than others. Some of these you actually might not have expected to see in here, but they're all really good and they are worth checking out. I will link these all down below so you can get them at below retail pricing, which is always nice. I'm also posting deals on my community tab every day, all day, doing $500 giveaways over there every month. If you want to get rare and discontinued, hard to find fragrances that pop up and go out of stock quickly, that's the place to be. Let's get it kicked off with Artisan XX by John Varvatos. This has vetiver and bitter orange, basically, is all you need to know. So it's their take on a vetiver inspired scent. And it works really, really well. It's kind of actually a sweeter vetiver to some extent. It's not too awfully earthy or anything like that. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit soapy. The bitter orange kind of ties this back to the original Artisan and some of the other flankers, which are focused heavily around bitter orange and clementine and all of that stuff, right? And so it kind of brings it back full circle there. But ultimately, this one ends up being very wearable, very versatile. You can wear it any time for pretty much anything. And even though it's a John Varvatos, the performance is actually respectable. It's not the best, but it's also not terrible. It's kind of right there in the middle, and I can't complain. Let's go with Armani Code Eau de Parfum next. So generally, you know, I think just about everyone should check out Absolute and Profumo, the codes that is. I think they're fantastic. However, those will be a little bit more divisive because they're sweeter and not everyone's cup of tea. You know, I tried to keep it to things where generally just about every guy, again, should own, because these are all going to be a little bit more widespread and well respected across the board. They're not too far in one direction, like I just said. I'm repeating myself, but Armani Code Eau de Parfum does just that. It ties back to that original Eau de Toilette, but it adds a little bit more of kind of a modern depth. So you get tonka bean, you get vanilla, you get some orange in here, some suede. And so it just brings it back to life with a little bit more sweetness. But again, not too much to tip it over the scale and put it into the feminine or even unisex direction. This is still very much a masculine men's scent, and I think it's one that a lot of guys should check out. If you grew up wearing the original code and you got tired of it, got burnt out, this is worth having around. It kind of brings it back to life and it smells great. Next up, Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir. This is the Eau de Parfum. So you could go with the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum. You could even choose the Eau de Toilette Extreme. They're all great. The Parfum could be a choice for you, but again, that one's got iris in it. It might be a little bit not everyone's favorite, you know? So this has vetiver, musk, cedarwood. It's very clean, very fresh, very soapy. And again, that's kind of what I was going after in this video. Really any guy out there could take a liking to this one, and people around you will find this very pleasant as well. It's not one that's going to be obnoxious. It's not one that's going to completely take over everything else that's going on. You know, it's just very, very inoffensive, very easy to get along with from all parties involved. And this line in particular kind of gets overlooked easily, but these are all pretty affordable, $50, $60 range on discounters. They all have great quality, good performance for the price, and they're just all around really good scents, and they're worth checking out. Now, if you're on a budget and you want to go for a cheapie, you can get this one for $20, $25. This is Pepe Jeans for him. So yeah, just the original here. Now they have a few flankers. They have Cocktail, they have Celebrate, and a couple others, but I'm just going for this one. This one has kind of an interesting mixture of notes. There's like pineapple and vanilla, but there's also some lavender and coffee. So kind of goes fruity, fresh, sweet, and all of that all combined basically. But it really smells pleasant, smells nice, easy to wear, you know, kind of is right there in the middle of being masculine and fresh, but also just having a little bit more texture, a little bit more depth to it. So it kind of separates itself from your typical fresh cologne, and that's kind of what I was going after with this choice. And again, for the price, $20, $25 on discounters for 100 milliliters, you really can't go wrong with it. And this next one is one that most of you probably do have. So like I said, I tried to choose some things that you maybe wouldn't think of, but probably everyone thinks of this one here next. But I wanted to toss it in anyway, because if you've been on the fence, if you've been apprehensive, you should still be considering this one. I think every guy should. I still wear this all the time. I just wore it the other day. And it's winter. Well, it's fall, but it feels like winter. And I still pulled this off the shelf and I wore it because I'm obsessed. I love it. It's Acqua di Gio Profumo. Incense, patchouli, and sea notes. You know, most of you have it, and if you don't have it, you've smelled it, and maybe it wasn't for you. That's fair enough. But ultimately, when it comes to playing it safe, this is going to work for the overwhelming majority of guys out there. It's just so easy to pull off. And what's nice about this over the original or over some of the others like Profondo and the Eau de Parfum, and why I chose this in particular, is the incense patchouli. So this isn't just nothing but freshness, but it also isn't nothing but sweetness, obviously. That would make sense, but it's right there in the middle. So it kind of appeals to different audiences and different crowds. People who like aquatics, you'll be covered. People who want something a little bit more smoky and mysterious and more masculine, it also has you covered. It's right there. It's versatile to the greatest degree. It's got great performance. It is a parfum, and all around, it is a must-have in my opinion. Out of all the things that I have, I still pick this up and wear it when it's cold out of all times. That's saying something. Next up, we have Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum. This one has patchouli, cardamom, and mint as some of the main notes. It's a 100 ml bottle, and it is a tester. So there's your nice, beautiful sticker, and on the side, you have your note breakdown. And it doesn't say tester on the side of it, but I'm pretty sure it is. That would make sense why the notes are on there. Yeah, tester. It is. Yeah, it says it on the bottom on the sticker. And the reason why I point this out, you're probably like, who cares? Well, it's because it comes with the cap. So if you want to save even more money, you can get this as a tester and still get the cap and the little fancy bow tie. And, well, now you've saved yourself, again, some money, which is nice. So there's nothing unique about this, really. It's nothing that you probably haven't smelled before. However, it's so pleasant, and there's something about this one for me that every time I smell it, I want to wear it more. And I don't have that happen with a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that I have. I'll smell it. I'll be like, yeah, that smells nice, but I'll probably never reach for it. This is one of those scents where I smell it and I'm like, I got to make some room for this. I got to get this into my rotation. And being that it's fall and kind of winterish, but also fall here sometimes, it'd be a great time to wear it. But it could actually work into winter as well. It combines freshness, mintiness with some sweetness and spiciness from the cardamom. I just think it's really nice. Masculine from the patchouli in here. And ultimately, it's just super easy to pull off. I think every guy should check this out. Another one on the affordable side, one that I really am a big fan of, Hugo Boss bottled, or not Boss bottled, Hugo Boss selection. I'm always used to saying Boss bottled, but it's not. Hugo Boss selection. Pink pepper, musk, some light woods, a little bit of citrus, grapefruit. It's so fresh and clean, but with spices as well, and it's very smooth and almost has kind of this, like, not leathery feel, but kind of like a suede type of texture and feeling to it, even though suede or leather isn't listed. It's just so inoffensive and so pleasant. You know, there's nothing about this that's really going to offend people, but it's also not something that'll necessarily blow people away, right? It doesn't blow me away, but it does impress me given the price point. And also, there's nothing else that I have and that I've smelled that smells like this. And that's always a big plus. You know, when you have smelled a ton of things and it can get boring, there's nothing else out there like this. And for the price, if you just want something super versatile that smells nice and clean, you can't go wrong. I mean, this is going to set you apart from the crowd for $25. That's pretty cool. And next up, Mercedes-Benz Select Night. Now this one has some vanilla, some sandalwood, some other sweet accords going on in here. A little bit of a kind of a lavender freshness to this one as well. And that's really kind of the gist of it. I'm trying to think of price. I don't know what it is. $40 maybe. Now, one thing I will say is testers do not come with caps. So, you know, You could save money on a tester, but it would look like this. Personally, I like the look of that better, but it's up to you. Nice sweet one, but even though it is sweet, it doesn't go over across that tipping point. It doesn't tip the scale into being feminine or unisex, because the lavender and the other fresh notes kind of bring it back down to earth and freshen it up, make it a little bit more masculine, a little bit more traditional, and a little bit more designer level in terms of just staying very mainstream. For the price, I don't see anything wrong with this. Decent performer as well. Not a beast, but decent, gets the job done. Just a nice, pleasant one to have around. A lot of you probably have the originator of this, and not probably, a lot of you do have the originator of this fragrance. You might even have the Eau de Parfum, and you probably have the newest flanker that just came out last year. But you might not have this one. This is DIOR Sauvage Parfum. So I really don't think the Parfum has done nearly as well as the others. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're still cranking out a ton of bottles. I'm sure people are wearing it left and right. But compared to the Eau de Toilette and even the Eau de Parfum and the newest Elixir, I think this kind of got overshadowed. And here's why. Think about it this way. Sauvage EDT came out 2015. Is that what it was? Somewhere around in there. Anyways, it came out, did incredibly well, super hyped up, compliments galore, big performer. People got crazy over it, right? And then it left everyone waiting. Okay, what's next? When the EDP came out, people were hyped up. I was hyped up. I got a sample of it because I couldn't afford to buy a bottle of it at that time when I did a little first impressions on my channel years ago of the Eau de Parfum. Everyone was hyped up for it. At that point, though, I don't think the Parfum was as highly anticipated. And now when you take a look at Elixir, it's almost like people thought it was going to stop at the Parfum, and then they released the Elixir in a different bottle with a different kind of set of marketing behind it, and people went crazy again. I just don't remember this going crazy like the others have. And because of that, it's a little bit overlooked. It's got olibanum, sandalwood, orange, bergamot. It's going to be the second most mature Sauvage, followed behind the newest Elixir. But it still is closer to actual Sauvage than Elixir is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, compliments, performance, all of that is a plus with this one. And I just think it's one every guy should consider. Even if you don't like Sauvage that much, you might really like this one. And we're going to end this video with another vetiver fragrance. We might as well kick it off with one, and we'll end it with one as well. However, this is nothing like the one we started it with. Completely opposite, which is so crazy how this note can work. Guerlain's vetiver. So this is, you know, from a niche brand, but it's $40 or $50 on discounters. So call it however you want. But this one has vetiver, of course. It has a bunch of tobacco, a bunch of wood, some cedar wood, excuse me, some sandalwood, some spices. If you look at the note breakdown, it's huge. There's a ton going on. And what this has always smelled like to me, and it sounds stupid, but it reminds me of 4th of July. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something about having the freshness of the vetiver reminds me of being outdoors, and then you have the other heavier notes, kind of some smoky notes going on, almost as if like you're just outdoors and you're watching the fireworks on the 4th of July. It's probably the dumbest thing ever, but I still think that every time I smell it. It's stupid. But anyway, it's a great scent. Really nice and clean, but it's going to have much more depth, much more masculine. It's going to be more mature and traditional compared to John Varvatos XX Artisan. But just another choice for you guys out there. Maybe you're a little bit older, you want something more mature. This is definitely a must-have for not a lot of money at all. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances I think every collector should have. These all bring something different to the table here for the most part. Some things you might not have thought of, and they all are going to have a spot in your collection in some way. And they'll be able to be taken advantage of, and they'll be able to be worn. You get your money's worth out of these. They don't just sit there and you can only wear them for 1 or 2 months out of the year. Versatile stuff that's worth checking out. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.